A record equalling 16th consecutive Test victory for Australia, and achieved in dramatic fashion. The first task on day 5 against India: rule out any possibility of defeat. Michael Hussey's 145 not out, his 8th Test century saw to that.
Congratulations, Mr. Cricket.
Andrew Symonds offered able assistance with 61, including 17 off one RP Singh over. Australia reached 401 for 7 before Ricky Ponting called them in, giving his bowlers 72 overs to win the match. They were quickly to work.
Oh yes, what a strike!
Wasim Jaffer out for a duck. Australia received a touch of fortune along the way too. Rahul Dravid given out caught behind off man of the match Symonds when he was well placed on 38. And it took a controversial decision to get rid of Ganguly too. Michael Clarke claimed the catch. Ganguly wasn't convinced it carried. Even so, India looked to have done enough for the draw. But in the penultimate over, Clarke took centre stage again. He had Harbhajan Singh caught by Hussey, then trapped RP Singh LBW. One more wicket would do it.
It's gone, it's over! Clarke's done the damage, Australia win!
3 wickets in an over to win the match. Now the celebrations could begin. Ricky Ponting's team had equalled a record set by Steve Waugh's side 7 years ago. A 16-game streak stretching back to 2005. They'll hope to make it 17 in a row when the final test begins on January the 16th.
You know, we were the only ones that could win the game. From when I declared, I thought we were the only team that could win the game, which is what I wanted today. And to have to sort of try and survive and bat out 70 overs on that wicket was going to be hard work, and that's the way it proved.
There was ever a stage where you thought, we're not going to win this game, it's going to be a draw?
Oh, with probably 10 overs to go, the game was sort of slipping away, but even then, I knew that we only needed 1 wicket, and new batsmen coming in were going to be under all sorts of pressure. The job that Andrew Symonds did with the ball today was you know, amazing for us, and we tried every option towards the end there. You know, I brought all the quicks back, and they were probably a little bit more, less effective than the spinners were. So last roll of the dice was to give Pup a crack, and he's got 3 wickets in a couple of overs.
More wickets and runs this game, Tub, but yeah, look, I've been asking Punt all day to get a bowl. He finally gave me the chance, so obviously, again, a lot of ask, but I'm certainly taking it.
3 wickets in the last, well, not turned out to be the last over, but did you think when you came on that you could still win the game?
Honestly, not a chance in hell, and I think that's why Punter threw me the ball.
That was a real classical old-school test match. You know, it went the distance. Both teams made big scores, and it was a sort of a ground-out affair that went right down the last few minutes.
Yeah, 220-odd runs for you, and wickets and time spent in the field. What's worse, your mind or your body? How are you holding up?
I felt pretty bad after I dropped that catch. That's the worst feeling in cricket. But I think at the moment I'm just full of adrenaline, but I'll collapse in a heap probably a bit later on tonight.
On day 3 of the second test in Sydney, Australia's players accused Singh of calling Symonds a monkey. Neither of the 2 umpires heard the alleged remark.
The incident involving Indian off-spinner Harbhajan Singh and Australian all-rounder Andrew Symonds, and the subsequent hearing by the ICC match referee and his conclusions are, to say the least, distressing. The Indian board does not accept the findings of the match referee and has decided to challenge the unfair decision to suspend Harbhajan Singh, as it deems it patently unfair. The board will appeal to the ICC to review the decision of the match referee and suspend its operations till the appeal is disposed of. The Indian board realizes the game of cricket is paramount, but so too is the honour of the Indian team, and for that matter, every Indian.
They're entitled to do whatever they think is appropriate at the time, but for me that would be a little bit extreme, I must admit. You know, as I said, from what I and the rest of the Australian players can take from the first 2 tests, there's a lot of fun and a lot of enjoyment. You know, sure that there's been something else in the background here that's happened in this last test that's probably put a sour taste in the Indian, couple of the Indian teams' mouths, but I think it's important for all of us to look past that and realise that both India and Australia have got and have had tremendous relations through 100 years of Test cricket, and you'd like to think that one little incident like this wouldn't bring undone all the great work that's been done.
The slur of racial abuse on Harbhajan Singh, that has assumed larger proportions in this country, because we have been an anti-racist country, and without any concrete evidence, without any intent, without the two umpires hearing anything from Harbhajan Singh, if he is hanged, that is what India is not willing to accept. The racial abuse slur, that is what they want to be set aside, and they believe that they are the aggrieved party over here. And for the ICC, the message from the Indian public is loud and clear. To know what is right and not to do it is the worst cowardice. What has tarnished the image of the game is bad umpiring. You should have the same yardstick for other people as well. 7 decisions go against the Indian team. Just 1 decision goes against the Australian team, and that too after Ponting is given a reprieve when he's out on 8, and the whole world saw it. The whole world saw it, the circumstantial evidence that goes on to prove that they were not playing with 11, they were playing with 14. I can understand the umpires making a mistake, but when a third umpire who's watching slow motion replays makes a mistake, then you got to say that he wouldn't find his bums with both hands. And that is inexplicable. India's not prepared to accept that. Why should 7 decisions go against India? Why should Rahul Dravid be given out when the third umpire could have easily been consulted and he could have batted on from there on? And if the game has been brought to disrepute, I'm sorry to say, it's because of the umpires. The umpires are the villain. They should be shown the door. Why should India suffer for that? That's what every Indian is saying, and with a lot of pride.
There are matters that have arisen out of the match that are relevant to the ICC Code of Conduct. Obviously, the matter in relation to Harbhajan Singh was heard last night and is now pending an appeal, and also I understand there may be a report against the Australian player Brad Hogg. So the ICC Code of Conduct specifically says, or puts me in the position of not being able to comment on that at this time. I do note comments from Anil Kumble after the match in respect to the spirit of the game and how the game was played, and I think that it is only appropriate in that circumstance for Ricky Ponting and Anil Kumble to get together and to talk about exactly what differences of opinion there may be in that regard.